G'day guys, welcome back in. Thank you very much for tolerating my absence. I don't want to talk about too much while I've been away, but I do want to get back into some painting. And in privacy, a few more layers of land on these pieces. Let me bring you up to date. First one, quickly becoming a personal favourite of mine. This is Porto. So Porto, massive landscape. If I bring you back here, you can see sky changing colour, going from those blue colours into the more sunsetty tones, and all the red roofs coming through here. Here's the image we're working off. So lots of houses, lots of fun. And one of my favourite features about this one is, you can see it there, the amount of texture we're playing with, which is no joke, no joke. This one here, which was ready to send, but I pulled back because it just needed a bit more love. Same story, tons of texture. Bring you back over here and see what's happened. And third, this one here has been started 3 times, over and over and over and over again. Let me bring in close to this one. This one's a bit lighter on the texture front, but massive and has the most pigments in it. It exceeds the other 2 by about double. So we come back a little bit and you'll start to see the dinner scene. Yes. Hello, Steve. Hello, Santiago. Who else do we have here? Hello, Asmondo. Welcome in, everyone. I've got a new friend for you to meet, guys. Hey, Loki. Snacks. You want to come say hi, buddy? Let me bring you on down so you can say hi. This is our newest family member. This is Loki. Here you go, buddy. He's just shy of 4 months old. He's a golden retriever. And more than anything, he loves scratches. And I hope he likes painting. We don't know that just yet, but we'll find out. Now, let's kick off with a bit of paint on this one. Bring you over here. There we go. I think it needs to come up a little bit though, because these are a little bit low. Just a few feet, nothing major. Bring you in here, guys. Here we are. G'day, Jay. Welcome on in. Jay, this will be a surprise for you. I messaged a few people, but look, I've been away for a while. I don't want to talk about why, but I do want to get back into some painting. And Jay, newest teammate. This is Loki. Of course, Cooper, who's now coming up on 2, calls him Oki, which I kind of think I'd like to stick, because Oki's kind of fun. You want a snack, buddy? You don't have to get up. These are healthy snacks. There's not a lot of salt in these. They're chicken liver, so not too many, but obviously better for them than a lot of those little snacks you'll find around the place. So, voila. Yeah. I've taken a few people for a bit of a tour through the studio we're not going to get too into it right now. No, we'll get into it a little bit, but it's a work in progress. So let's just show you. Right, so we're working on the back wall here. Now, one of the most important things about this studio is it's a shed. So a shed means we've got 3 walls and barn doors. Now, while that creates a massive space to work in, it does create the issue of airflow. So how do you deal with that? Well, that's what these are. So these 2 holes here link through to extractors, and if we can't close them, if I put you right up there, you might be able to hear it pulling through air. So airflow coming from these 3 fans, which are a little bit dinky, but they do work. They push the air this way, and then they are sucking it out as fast as they can go. Now, between those effects, we're moving about 200 it's supposed to be 300. I'm going to say between 2 and 300, say about 250 cubic meters per minute. So every 2.5 minutes, hypothetically, this room will get a fresh sweep of air. And if there's wind going, it'll blow more air through. That's part of the safety in this room. Now, we're not working with lethal stuff. We're working with regular non-toxic acrylics. And a lot of people can paint with these fine. For me, if I catch a whiff of any chemical or paint or glue, or I just get brain fog and can't think straight. So I've got no choice. I need brilliant airflow or I cannot paint. So we're working with very, very mild ingredients on this table. Gouache paints, acrylic paints, but the airflow means that I can't smell it, and that'll stop the autoimmune reaction that throws me off the horse. Sorry guys, I hope I didn't miss anyone's comments there. Anyway, to all of you, thank you for coming back in again and waiting so patiently on me. I've got some flat filter coffee, so that hasn't changed. I'll walk you through a few of the fun things here though. So artwork's in the middle. These are the 3 current commissions, 1, 2, 3. There's a 4th one coming up. I'm only going to spoil the name. I'm not going to tell you anything else about it. It's called Crucible of Worlds. That one's coming up. It's going to be amazing. And it's for a collector who already has a piece, but I won't spoil which piece it is. But that one's coming up after these 3 leave the studio. This is the most expensive dog bed you'll ever see in your entire life. This is a $25,000 at retail piece of glass from Italy. Now, I got my hands on it from Facebook Marketplace because whatever happened, they smashed the bases. It was an insurance job, and then they were selling it the table off. No one wants it without the base, except for Seb. So now I have a giant piece of Italian amber glass, which is 3.5 meters and 1.5 meters, 3.5 meters long, 1.5 meters wide. And I'm thinking that's going to be this running through the middle. Problem is, it's 200 kgs. So I need 3 more people at the studio to help me move that thing to the middle of the floor. Now, I've painted the floor twice, and we're going to paint it 3 times because I went too light grey, didn't like it. I went grey, kind of like it, but we're going to go black. Black's also going to keep me on my toes, so all these little bits of dust, I'll see them and actually have to keep on cleaning the studio. Messy workspace, messy mind. Big man on that. Obviously, you can see as far as I've got with the painting, I've been messing around. Hey, Phoenix. I hope you watched the videos before you popped on in. This is really special to see you all again. Thank you for everyone for popping in. That's an old painting from 2020. I love that one. Let me take you for a little bit of a walk, because we're on the Starlink at the moment, so we can go a bit further abroad. So this is the new studio. It's still a work in progress. The plan here in it, I wasn't going to show anyone this until it was finished because I was embarrassed, to be honest. And now actually coming here and feeling comfortable with you guys immediately, I'll just show it to you in its raw messy state. So when I got here, this place was literally to here, filled to the roof with junk. The entire thing. Got all that out. It was 13 trailer loads of rubbish. 13 trailer loads of rubbish. It cost me, in fact, the rubbish is a hard one to pinpoint. It cost me $3,500 of disposal to get this shed clear. Okay? So put that amount of rubbish into perspective. Taking it to the dump, getting it weighed, and getting it thrown away. It was a lot. Anyway, enough on that. This is where it's at now. We have this really interesting shape. Now, there's only one person in the chat right now that knows why it's like this. And I find that funny, so we're going to leave it that way. This is a really interesting shed. And what we plan on doing with it is I'm going to get this part of the beam and I'm going to paint that white so it disappears back into the wall. And that way, the whole way along, you have these vertical beams and these long roof beams. Vertical and long roof beam. And that way it'll have a slight marae feel, like it's this giant hut structure, because it is kind of like a hut. There's no hiding the fact that it's corrugated iron and clear light. It's not fancy, but it's perfect for what we're trying to do. And if we do that, it'll lean into it. We need lots of white to display and actually think about the art. But that's the plan in this space. You can see at the top there, that's not finished. How it's all rough on the edge. I just used the roller and then left it. That's just messy. Here's the box. Currently it's a little bit swampy out here because so I've laid down the box. This is the holding case for the big piece of glass. But Loki's a retriever and he gets really hot, and the glass inside the garage there is the perfect daybed for him. So tell me a better use for Italian glass, right? Obviously, with it getting wet down here, the plan will be to put in pavers to look after that. Now, we're going to see if the Wi-Fi holds on. It should, but I'm going to take you behind the shed. So this is its current colour. I'm leaning towards going black, but that'll attract a lot of sun. So we haven't chosen a colour for the shed, but we will probably go to a vote on it. I'm not even opposed to going hot pink. Like, I wouldn't like yellow. Primary yellow would upset me, but anything else, I'll enjoy it. This is the extraction. So although it's only two little spots, it's right beside where the artwork is, which is super important, which means it's pulling air out. You can see it's working there, pushing it through, and what's running it is our electric generator in between. That's true. I actually had some very good old friends here. I said, what colour should we go? They said, go black. It'll be incredible, it'll be amazing. White on the inside, black on the outside, and see what comes into fruition. The other last thing, and then we're going back into the studio. Look, we've got fruit coming in. So right around the studio here, and it's it doesn't look like much from that angle, but right around the studio is a whole bunch of fruit trees. We've got jeepers. I'm going to try and remember here, but these are pears, I think. Loki's like, I'm done. If you're not giving me any more treats, I'm out of here. These massive ones here, these are olive trees. So apparently there's commercial amount of olives inbound here. These are, I think there's feijoas. There's definitely peaches. There's grapefruit, limes, lemons. Basically everything you'd want to put in a nice gin at the end of the day. So I'm out of limes. But I've got plenty of pears left. Oh, no. Okay, cool. Yeah, Shelby, can you help out here? Nashi pears, limes, lemons, grapefruits, apricots. Lots of stuff. All right. Now, let me bring you back in here. Okay. In terms of utility speaking, These are the trolleys. We used to have these back in 2019, and now they're back. So currently covered with drills, but having it on wheels means if I've got multiple workstations, I can wheel these around to the different areas. These are the lights that need to go up the whole way on this side, but you can see this side's been done. I've got two different kinds of lights. I didn't like how they didn't match, and I got the pit, so that's why we paused. And the other thing is operationally, so artwork in the middle. These are frames. Now you'd wonder why I end up with 5 frames. Sometimes you put the frame on the work and it's not right, and so I pull it off, buy a new one, and sort it out, and it means I start to stockpile a few different kinds, which it doesn't bother me. It's nature of the beast. Sometimes they fit a piece of artwork, sometimes they just end up on the wall around here. And then boxes. So obviously when these ones are ready to ship, 1, 2, 3, they'll get a frame put on them, because you've got to send artwork framed for all sorts of reasons. And then if you have had a piece before, I know there's I think 3 people in the chat who have had these before, but these are the boxes. So let me pull this open for you. John, you're hiding the box, mate. But thank you. Right, so I did go through a phase of building these boxes out of wood and using pull felt and making them borderline indestructible. The problem with that, and it's a really funny problem, is once they started looking indestructible, they started treating them like they were indestructible and putting pellets on top of them. And they were built strong enough to handle the pellet on top of it, like a full half to a full ton on top of the artwork. What was their undoing was that the forklift driver didn't realize that the artwork was underneath the pellet and would drive the forks straight into it. So we had 2 pieces of artwork get forklift forks go straight through the box, and luckily it just ruined the box and the frame. So we got it reframed in Washington, I think reframed in Pennsylvania, and it was that family portrait actually. And anyway, lovely framers in the US looked after it, understood it. It was under insurance, but it's the kind of thing that you just don't want to happen. So long story short, turns out lightweight is better because you want it to look fragile. So here we've got a light MDF front and cardboard, but on the inside it's fully cushioned and supported. So what happens is it looks fragile, but it's actually waterproof and really, really strong. Now that way everyone treats it gently as it travels internationally, and then when it gets there, it's still, this is a good box. Anyway, it goes in there and travels nice and safely. The last thing to do is to, even though I say it's waterproof, wrap it up. Wrap it up with the same stuff I use at the airports, and then wind it around. You need that around it, otherwise, I don't know, they throw it off, they fly, they don't go by a boat, but I don't know what they end up doing. They just leave them out in the rain or throw it in a puddle and all this sort of carry on. So wrap it up good. And then the last thing is, all it has to keep it closed is those Velcro straps. Now what that means is, one on each side, when it arrives on location, all you have to do is undo the 4 Velcro straps and lift the lid, and then you can enjoy your artwork. And that way, a lot of the time you want to celebrate with friends and family, so it's more fun when it's actually not hard to unbox things. Anyway, that's the boxes, that's the frames, that's Loki's dog bed. I think that's a full tour. That's a full tour. Oh, last thing, if anyone saw it up on the roof, this here, I've never seen one before in my life until I moved into the studio. That is an old school fire extinguisher that has to come off the roof at some stage. So Loki's just taking my polystyrene. Hey Loki, not that one, buddy. You chews on polystyrene and it goes everywhere. But don't want him to eat any. So anyway, we'll get him some more liver shortly. That thing there's an old school one. It lets out whatever reservoir of water it has in there, and yeah, so that can go, because water going all over the art would be just about as bad as fire. So we're not going to be using that. Hey Loki. Shall we see if we can do one of the tricks, guys? I'm going to try and... We've been doing a bit of work here, team. Let me bring you over here. Okay. So, he's treat trained. He is not trained. But I like training with treats. So, here we go. Oh, this way, buddy. Have a seat. And go down. You want to shake hands? Okay. Sometimes when the ground's cold, he doesn't like to go down, but we've got to the stage where we do sit, down, and then roll over. See, he's got his little paw up there. He wants another treat. You'll get there, won't you, buddy? But honestly, as far as training goes, he's the sweetest dog. He's a puppy. He's so well behaved. He's everything you could ever want from a dog. So thank you, Shelby, for insisting we get one. Right. Let's actually do what we came here to do and paint. But I've thoroughly enjoyed this has been fun. As time went on, I got more and more anxiety about coming back, and funnily enough, it feels more natural being back doing this than it felt doing the solo sessions without being live. But sometimes you do just need to go live, just need to do some painting for yourself. Anyway, let's get started. So, I've pre-selected a few colours over here, and I've already put them on the trolley. And the last thing I need to do in the studio too, for my own interest, is to get a flare, like a smoke thing of some sort, and release it in different points of the studio and just actually see physically what the airflow is doing. Because it might not be as good as I think it is. But anyway, we'll see. Right, so this one here, bunch of reds through here, but now we're going to be adding in magentas. So, magenta makes red more fun. And the plate today, a delightful one from an op shop. This is actually French glass, and no one else wanted it. So, its last home is in the Sedgar Art Workshop. How about that? And massive kudos to Shelby for letting me convert this entire shed into a studio. Let me just flick on there. Let me just catch up here, guys. Timothy, I was in... Were we in Sydney or Brisbane for the TikTok Awards? I can't remember. It was Sydney. It was Sydney? It was Sydney. Maybe it wasn't Sydney. Was it Sydney? See, I'm doubting myself because I've watched Finding Nemo and Finding Dory so many times that here I am trying to think about it and just hearing P. Sherman, Wallaby Way. Like, P. Sherman, 42, Wallaby Way, Sydney. I've seen Finding Dory, and this is a controversial opinion. I think Finding Dory is better than Finding Nemo. But I've watched it about It's Coopy's favourite movie. I've watched it about 30 times. And when I say about 30, I don't mean possibly 30 reaching from 25. I mean possibly 30 coming down from 35, probably closer to 40. Hey Loki! Did you find some mud? You're going to need a shower before we hit the track. Jeepers creepers, mate. Right, there we go. Okay, there's our colour palettes. And this can go back. Loki has found himself some dirt. And he is marching it through the studio, but that's good. We're seeing how this works in practice. The plan is to have everything off the floor so I can hose it out, and also make it safe for kids. So everything up off the floor means that, and maybe that Italian glass becomes the kids' table with like crayons and stuff on it, because this studio wants to be like right now it's not. It wants to be a super kid-friendly place. So kids come in, they can play with crayons, there's paper, they can do all sorts of stuff, and all the stuff that's dangerous is like above shoulder height. So that way I can still work, everything's functional as a professional studio, but it's kids first, is the plan. Oh, Loki is an absolute mess right now. He's loving the dirt. It's too late to fight it. It's too late to fight it. Can you, yeah, actually, good point, Shelby. Can you close the doors? Because he's really gone out there. He's really. It's dog safe though. And he's got the zoomies. But sometimes when you come out here late at night, it can be a bit scary. You can get it can be he's laying on the Italian glass at the moment. You might all over it. Oh well, it's his dog bed. He can do what he likes. Van Gogh by a long shot. I'm actually reading a book on Van Gogh right now. It's a good book, but it's not because he's the most famous. I just like him. I mean, not him as a person, but I like him, his artwork. I like his style. I like the thick and pastel colours he used and things like that. So Loki is showing me that the floor is going to need a, I mean, if we go, let's see how the dust looks, but maybe black is too dark. I've already bought paint though, so there's that. Hey Loki, not that one mate, that's the easel. You bump that, you'll be in trouble. I'll be in trouble. You won't know what happened. So it turns out, with his person, turns out golden retrievers, and probably all dogs are similar, but golden retrievers respond terribly to negative reinforcement. So when they do something wrong and you negatively reinforce it with, you know, whatever behaviour in a negative fashion, they neurologically have a really hard time connecting the action they did with the negative reinforcement you gave. So with golden retrievers, and this is where a lot of us will think that's our spirit animal, they work solely with positive reinforcement and not long training sessions. Short, sharp, 5 or 6 a day, 5 or 10 minutes. That's how you train a golden retriever. And for me, that was, very early in the piece, I thought I need to learn how to look after a dog. So I started reading books, I started listening to podcasts, and the more I learned about golden retrievers, the more I fall in love with them as a breed. And Shelby's cousin and auntie, hey Loki, no bumping the easel, buddy. You must learn these things. The more I learn about golden retrievers and the fact that Shelby's family breed them, the more I just fall in love with them as a breed of dog. They're quite amazing. So, there's that. I'm just going to bring this. Just craning my neck to see what's going on there a lot of the time. But magenta and Naples yellow play massive roles in this piece. This is the thing though, Loki is, Shelby calls it getting the zoomies, which means just run around all over the show. Loki gets the zoomies and then he just chills right out. It's kind of like, it's like puppies have this bipolar thing. Sleep, and then up and raging, and then chill, and then back to raging, and then sleeping, and then it's just this tidal wave of what's going on. Absolute tidal wave. Which is pretty funny. Extraction's working really good, guys. I get a few little whips, but actually, for the most part, that suction's doing a really, really good job, which is fantastic. We could put up more. I mean, there's no limit to how much suction we can have in this back wall. The first thing I did was I got a quote for a roller door on this side. So the roller door would go the whole way up and you would have like an air tunnel and you'd put fans in the middle and pull it on through. And wild card, roller door, get this, a roller door 3 meters by 3 meters. And I'm not saying that they were 100% fair, but fair was a $9,000 door. And I'm like, I'm not doing $9,000 for a door. So this setup here is about $900, which is a tenth of the cost. And it's sucking out while that pushes through. Now, could it be stronger? Yeah, definitely. But a $9,000 door, plus the fans, we can't be doing that. That's not how we play. Maybe one day. It kind of is Ryan. I got them to quote, and that wasn't even to structurally stabilize it. That'll be an extra few thousand. I got them to quote on that side, which is already an open cavity, and just one of those cheap roll-up ones. No extravagance, as simple as possible. $9 grand. And I'm like, I can't afford that. I'm like, what if I put it up myself? $7 grand. And I'm like, okay, first off, how am I going to put it up? I can't do that. Probably I can. Sounds tough. I'll probably do it wrong. So it's 9, and that's enough. We don't play that way. We don't play that way. So we're working with extraction out there, and it allows us to use the what do you call it? Electric generator. And next time, to help alleviate, I'm not sure how bad it is, I have to listen to the replay, but to alleviate that hum that it creates, I'll get the little mic piece. We'll do that. Oh, Steve, when I first read that, I'm sure it's better for keeping out humanity. And I was agreeing. I was like, yeah, legit, because a human couldn't fit through one of those holes. But you said humidity, so yes, 100%. That is a lot better for keeping out humidity. Now, I'd also been thinking already, Steve, that it does need dehumidifiers because it's a shed and massive misread. It is a shed and one whole side of it opens, and although it's watertight, we need to know two things to make sure the art's safe, is temperature and humidity. Now, it doesn't need to be in a gallery sense, like to the degree, like a wine cellar or something, but it does need to be within a band. You can't get too moist, and you also can't get too hot. Cold's kind of fine, but I do need some thermometers out here so at the height of summer, we actually know what we're dealing with. Because right now, I mean, it's a New Zealand shed. Sometimes things get crazy hot here, so you can hear me clearly. This is good. This is good. I might just put this one out before we do that. Loki's gone for a wander back to the house. He's thinking, I want to see what Mummy's up to. And Mummy has locked all the doors. She's like, Loki is not coming in the house. And I respect that. That dog has made a mess. Okay. This is kind of like you get ultramarine blue and you combine it into like a brilliant magenta, you get this kind of ultramarine purple, if there is such a thing, which it's kind of more vibrant than a royal purple. I mean, it is kind of a royal purple, but it's not as dark and lush. It just has more of that pop to it. So ultramarine blue into magenta. Great combo. And the trick in here is just, this is same old same. With a landscape, you can't do it in a single layer. Some artwork looks really cool with a single layer. Here we go. Look at this one. This one here. That artwork there. I love that piece. Brought it in here with me. Look, that artwork needs to be just a single layer. It's 5 colours. So 3 primaries and then Naples yellow and pink. Done. Face is done. Faces, you get the impression really fast and you stick to it. And then this one here as well. That one there's a massive 3 meter, like 2.5 meter by 2 meter painting. That one also, a couple of quick strokes and you're done. With a landscape, I find, especially with a kind of simple subject matter, this big triangle with 2 kind of flat negative space zones with like this intricate detail in it, you need to just layer and layer and layer and layer. And that's what's happening here. So when you come and like, let's go right back. Bear with me, we're gonna actually shoot right across the room, right to the back. So if we can see it here, yeah, so from this distance, I'll put you flat so it stops moving around so much. From this distance, you'll see the boat in the center, and you'll see those 3 lines coming down. I'm making it blur out. The 3 lines coming down from the boat, that's its the mast reflecting the water. You'll see the gradient of this kind of peninsula heading around there, it's Porto. And then you'll see the other structure on the left there, just curling around, but less detail, less highlights, it's further into the distance. Can't see the sky, because I've got that big blotchy image all over it, but the best thing about creating that curiosity in the landscape is as we go through steps, we go from 20 feet, we come to 10 feet away, we should start seeing different things, it should start feeling slightly different, and then if I bring you right up here, right up here, bring you up close, right up here, bring you right up to here, you'll start seeing different colors again. And it's harder to do it with a little 720 feed on the phone, but if you're here in person, from a distance, you'll see the blacks and the actual structure of it really clearly. And then from up close, I see the yellows, I see the Naples, and in the mid-zone, I see blues, I see purples. So it gives that experience through depth, how far you are away from it. So it's kind of fun to have landscapes in hallways or at points where you can sit close to them and far away from them. Because if you can get right up close to this one, if I show you there, you get to see, if I get the angle on it right, the texture. And that's also part of the fun, where you kind of see each individual stroke up close in its messy chaos, and then you go away from it and get clarity from a distance. All right, we're back. There you go. The regulars are hearing that and being like, again, I'm sick of this clarity from a distance, chaos from up close yarn. But like, it's kind of important. In terms of impressionism, it's not a key part of, say, Van Gogh's work. He didn't really care about that, but because he used a lot of symbolism and he highlighted outlines and made things really obvious. For me, it's kind of a blur, so that clarity plays a massive role in how you digest the image. I don't actually. Funny you say that, Danny. I frequently send paintings too far, but better to send a painting too far and realise that than never send it far enough and just never fully like it or connect with it. You can, you can sit there with a painting and be like, oh, it's done, but still be nervous around it. You'll know when it's done when you just declare it's done and you know for a fact that you are finished. And like, sometimes you need to let a painting sit for like 2 or 3 days as your feelings consolidate for you to know that. But you will know that. It's never, from the artist's point of view, it should never be a guess. Hey, Heddy. You're still here with me, mate, which is brilliant. The early streams were fun, to be honest. And I think making sure you remember why you were doing your early streams and staying connected to that is, it's important. Because I think there's a candid nature. Honestly, I started getting much too eventy with it, I reckon. And this isn't an event, this is a process. And I think I need to remind myself of that as much as anything. Because if I had my way, with no holes barred, maybe I'm running off with smoke and fireworks and things. And actually, if that's part of the process, great, but actually it's not. In this case, it's not an event, it's just, I'm just repeating myself. But, royal purple, a fun way to sort of add some depth to those darker areas. Keep it messy. If anything, this brush is a bit big for the stage we're at, but we'll continue to work with it because it's a fun one. My uncle actually handmade it. It's out of, if I show you this, it's the brush itself leaves a bit to be desired, but the actual handle, because it's squared, if I show you there, you can see the sort of handmade elements of it. Because it's square, It's actually really easy to hold and be more dexterous with. A lot of brushes, or in fact all brushes in the shops, are round. And round is okay, but round is not, let me just grab some examples. Round is not the most helpful. Like, when things get slippery, round's gonna slip out of your hand or make little mistakes that are not really your fault, it's just a not very grippy, slippery tool. And then they do these ones, which are big and flat. You think, oh great, that's easy to hold. It's easy to hold, but you're limited in how you actually can hold it, and now you've lost your dexterity, which is okay for big strokes, but again, it leaves a lot to be desired. But if you're on these square ones, you can hold it. Now, there's nowhere to buy these. My uncle just made this one for me. He's probably been listening to me complain, to be fair. That's how we got here. Let me just jump on that. Fair player. My thoughts on that. I think the key philosophy behind going out should be the same as playing sport, having recreational fun, or spending time with your family. Start with the philosophy of why you're there. If it's to have fun and connect with your friends, then lead with that. And if there's things you can do which would increase that, make it more fun. Loki, not the polystyrene, I can see you, buddy. Do you want some more liver? Hey Loki, come. You have to put down the polystyrene if you want some liver though. That's the deal. Look how messy this dog is. Hold on. Over here, Lugs. You are so messy. He's not going to like it, but I'm going to have to hose him down a little bit so he can come back inside. Down. Nah, down. Nah, down. You know what I want? Come on. Nope, nope. Loki, down. Good boy. Now, so the next one, can we roll over? Can we roll over? Can we roll over? All the way, all the way, all the way. Good boy. Good boy. It was a long way from perfect, but we'll take the... is he understand or just baby? He's a baby. So as you can see there with the rollover, I've got the treat in my hand and I'm doing it round his head. So he does the motion of rolling over, but it's very treat focused. We're nowhere near being really, you know, if the treat wasn't there, this gesture with the hand, it's making him start the roll. Nah, no way. And actually, even after the roll's half done, he could neurologically be thinking, stand up is what I, you know, he's halfway through the roll and then I give him the treat when he's on the whole roll. It's complicated stuff. But I've enjoyed it. It's just a nice dog to have around, really. It has been, Marty. Welcome on in. This is the new studio. Guys, I'm not going to do a full tour of the studio. We've done that. If you'd like to catch it, I'll post the replay and just flick around. We took like a 40-minute walk around the whole shooting box and pretty special. Just bring you up there a little bit. Pretty special. So one of the things I put over it is the sheen, kind of like a liquid glass sheen, but it's got a little bit of crackle paste through it, so these cracks will start to appear through the perfection of the kind of fluid coat on top. So if it all gets too shiny, it loses something, so a little bit of crackle to it. Crackle's always fun. And that's the kind of perk you get with acrylic paints too, because with acrylics, You can crackle, you can sand, not sand, you can get like a sandy, dusty effect, you can get a glossy effect, a matte effect. You're kind of open to anything that you want to do. I will certainly be using the outdoor shower. I don't know how Loki's going to feel about it, but I will do. Midnight, I set up an outdoor shower. Thanks, Trash. Wait. Trashville. Thanks, Trashville. I'm not sure how Loki's going to feel about an outdoor shower, but basically, our outdoor shower is a pipe I've connected to an outdoor hose and run around the house to the prime position to stand naked while looking out over the view. Winning? Yeah, definitely winning. But conventional? No. But the plan is to formalise the pipe work, as in someone better than me makes it, and then put like a colophon, which is a water heating unit there. So we won't run hot water to it, we'll heat the hot water on site, so I'll just run power to it, is my plan. So one pipe in, one pipe out. But anyway, that's the plan. Just get around the edge there. After hours. This is the thanks D-Marks. This is for a collectible Blake, and we're making, so he took this photo on his phone. He saw the moment, took the photo, and now we're capturing it, but it's Porto. So my plan, my soft plan, once once it's possible, is I actually want to go to this place and stand where Blake took this photo. Hopefully he wasn't moving too fast, and actually also take Shelby and Cooper on a holiday. They both deserve it, there is no doubt. But at the moment, we've got an awful lot on our plates, so. Can I add you? What does that mean? Like follow you, add you as a friend? Are you an artist who takes orders and ships to us? I do, yeah, 100%. The only, not a problem, but Australia, weirdly, you'd think it's New Zealand's back doorstep, which it kind of is, but shipping-wise, they still charge the same as if you're shipping it to the States. So my shipping rate to get things to the States is the same as it is to Australia. The only difference, a little bit better now that obviously there's no tariffs going to Australia. But anyway, yes, 100%. So what we do, we make a piece of art like this. This is on canvas, but canvas or hardboard depending on the piece. Canvas or hardboard goes in a frame. So here's a couple of leftover frames here. Once it's in the frame, then it goes inside a box, which is like this, and then it ships to you safely. So a bit of a process. Couple of little hard things to leap over, like think of insurance, think of tariffs, think of VAT tax. So I handle all those things, but it's hard for artists to, especially when you're getting started, to get your head around all those little bits and pieces. It's not easy. But now, I guess it got easier because you've got GBT, so you can just ask these questions to a robot and say, what am I supposed to do here? But, historically, that kind of stuff is a showstopper. But most of these works will end up going to America for the most part. The wedding is for the South Island, so the wedding's staying here in New Zealand. These two are heading overseas. Is Lee Plan. Is Lee Plan. After hours. One big one. It's a bit dark to be honest, so a bit more of the move that over there. Sometimes you can get the picture and have it on a pole to the side, or have it actually there facing this way, or have it like, I like it on the artwork itself. Hey buddy. You'll be very careful here. You can't just charge on back and think you're going to be okay. You might end up stepping on your little mate. And you don't want to step on your little mate. Just put it right there. There we go. Alright, let's do this. Sorry, Logan. Bumped him again. That was a fun one. Yeah. Yes. The sky. The sky's giving me sampans and shelter vibes, which I'm here for. One of my favourite skies that's ever been done in a painting is from Sampans and Shelter. I think that one's just primo. But I've been falling back in love with, well, re-realising my love for Van Gogh, because I've been reading a book I got from an op shop for $5. Which was an art book. I actually felt bad buying it, and she said, no, that's the price of the book. And I'm like, art books should always be more, because they have, not because art books are special, although they have amazing printing quality, and so you can't price it the same as other novels and things. There's actually a value thing there. So, like gallery books and things, they're always like $200, because if you get the quality of the printing right, it's just expensive. It's expensive stuff. So let me catch up here. Heavenly Angel, welcome in. Phoenix sent fluffy bunnies. Thanks. And thanks, Brew. Love for bingo. I can't say I'm a massive fan of bingo. It feels quite arbitrary who wins, and I usually end up in a conversation with someone and then forget to mark numbers that have already come up. I appreciate that. Who's that? Let me fly. Let me fly. I appreciate that. The thing I appreciate the most there is you came in and said you don't understand the art. Which I'm not going to do in those whole speeches like, I'm losing my trail of thought rapidly here. when you say you don't understand the art, you've made a conscious decision to say that rather than, I don't like that. Now, both are okay, but when you say, I don't understand the art, you're saying, hey, someone's probably into that, it's not for me, but I'm gonna move on, or stay. But I think that's quite cool. And also, you invite the opportunity for me to explain it to you, which I'm doing a very poor job of, but it's impressionist artwork. It definitely borders heavily on expressionism, but I like to keep it in the impressionism bandcamp, which means every stroke and thing that I'm doing is trying to actually make an impression of the image. The subject matter is intimately connected into what this is. There's no strokes in here where I'm just imagining something out of the top of my head. It's actually all coming from this inspiration photo. So crazy with an anchor. So the ship is tossing around in the sea, but staying around a central point. If there's not that central point, this is crazy. This could be abstract, this could be expressionism, but it's not. There's an anchor holding it together. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I do have a certain taste, a certain desire for a subject. I like a subject to be in the image. So like something that I can actually talk to. I like a boat, I like a landscape, if it's going to be wild, let it be wild, yeah, but I don't know, just a subject matter to anchor it. I was having this yarn with a Canadian collector, and I was offering him a few landscapes, and he said, no, these are all just landscapes. There's not a thing in it to anchor it. So we ended up making him a personal piece. That was Sunset in Paradise. And part of it was, yes, sunset, that was everything, but the boat. So there were two boats, and they anchored the entire thing. So without the boats being in there, it was just wild colour. There was no reason for it to be anything else. I need some Naples yellow. I keep looking for it, though. So, boats. Because water's beautiful to paint, sunsets are great, and boats just help you anchor an image. So, it's a whole circle there. It's incredible, yet the painting is quite hard to interpret, but I really appreciate the arts. Okay, that's a long comment, and since you did that, I'm going to give you a little bit of a show here. Let's do this properly. Actually, I'm going to put down the brush, grab this image. So let's go behind this little arts table here. Over here, I'm going to put you down. Is this going to be? Yeah. You guys can go here. So at this distance point, kind of wild, but what I want to do with you is get this image here, and there's the image. You can see everything going on like that. And now if I bring it to here, what I want to do with you is put it over the top. So that's what we're painting. That's what we've got. That's what we're painting. That's what we've got. Now, obviously, it's not realism. These are two very different images, but inside this image, and you see, that's just a big black shape, and that's kind of bland, and there's just water there, it's really white. But let's look a bit deeper, and let's have a little look-see here. We have these lovely roofs. What, they might be tiled, they're red, there's flicks of magenta in them. These blotchy kind of columns coming down through it. The architecture on this Porto area is incredible. We've got a boat shimmering in the water here, and these speckly kind of mast or sails or whatever on the boat. Now from a distance, none of that's there, but because we're doing an impression of it, we have the ability to go, right, what do we want to exacerbate? What do we want to see? We can choose to ignore the fact that this is a big black triangle, and instead we can see color where, although we see it, in comparison there is none. Loki's less than thrilled about it. He's more of a realist. It's a tough relationship right now. And then, even in the chaotic style of Impressionism, if we come all the way back over here, so we're literally at the doors about to leave the studio, these two pictures should be, I mean, it's dark on our image right now, so it's hard to see, but that should be pretty much almost photo accurate. If you blur your eyes a little bit, there shouldn't be anything particularly wrong with it. So distance should be completely accurate. Up close should be chaos. In between, we should be able to do the matchy at about the 10-15 feet mark, and we should be able to actually go, right, I see, okay, he's chosen to leap more into the court of the reds, the turquoises, the magenta. I party a lot with ultramarine blue. This one here doesn't need it as much, so it's got more cerulean in it, which is kind of like your chill blue. And then the one that comes through here is a mix of teal and Pacific blue. Pacific blue is just like a grey blue. I also tend to use that a whole lot as well. Now, where are you going to go? What colour was I using? Let's put you there. No, let's put you bang smack in the middle. Now, because they're acrylics, they dry really fast. We just throw this over the top and just keep working around the areas as we go. It's the best way to do it. News. First off, love that. Hold on, let me just come up here. Yes! Let me fly. I'm like, obviously let me fly, but that's your username. Love that, love that. Oh, that's exciting. I've got some water that went down the wrong chute. I'm excited about you seeing that. That's great. Bear with me. News. I would absolutely love to make you a piece. Commission links in the bio. Now, I've been away for a while, so I'm backed up, but I want to make an island map for you. Absolutely. The next one, I was teasing it before, the next one is called Crucible of Worlds. So that one's coming up. It's going to be, well, for now, just let those 3 words be all that we know about that project, but there is a plan in place of what it's going to look like, and the composition of it. The colours and the, wilderness of it are not selected, but the actual, did I say composition? Composition's locked in, so the structure of it's locked in. And the only other thing I'll say is we're not working off a photo. Usually, and in this one here, we're making an impression of the shot here. So the collector's connection with this painting, they orchestrated it. They took the photo. This is from their device. They captured the moment. These are their photons sent to my email, printed out onto paper and ink, and then applied onto a surface in paint. So without the collector, there is no art in this case. So this photo is actually a really important part of anchoring and streamlining everything that's happening. Some people hate painting from photos. I would just say get over that. That's just silly. The same, I don't get it. You can't sit there and say, there's nothing better than painting the real thing, and then make a model sit still for 3 hours. I get it, some people like to do that. If you're into that as a model or an artist, there's a bit of a kink happening there, but I'm into the fact that you're into it. I'm just saying that if they're going to sit there for 3 hours, maybe a photo can cut the mustard. And if the photo can't cut the mustard because, lighting changes and things, take 5 photos. It'll be fine. It will work. It'll be great. And sometimes, inspiration shots and things, and I get that. But obviously models are fun. Models are a very, very fun part of painting. I respect it. But with landscapes and things, this sunset changed its colours in 2 seconds. There's a reason why all the pictures historically are beautiful landscapes, not beautiful sunrises and sunsets. This is a very limited window to catch those colours. So in 2025, if you want to paint beautiful landscapes and make them unique, paint sunsets and sunrises, because they didn't last long enough for the old impressionists of the 19th century to actually paint. And you'll be like, that's not true, I found an impressionist who did. We're talking broad strokes. We're talking big broad strokes. Let me just catch up here. Do a painting of Cooper and Loki. Actually, it's funny you say that. I've got some footage of Cooper in the studio making, let me show you this, hold on. So, I'm talking about impressionism because obviously I love impressionism, it's my style, but here's Cooper's first abstract piece made in the studio. Voila. Now, we're going to have some real fun with these. So this size here, it's just like about 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. I'm going to get a canvas and we're going to reproduce this as an impressionist piece. So we've got abstract, we've got chaos. This is the work of an 18-month-old girl who just chose whatever colours she wanted and thrashed it on this. Now I'm going to recreate this with professional paint, like expensive resources, in the exact same. So we're not going to change anything, but we're going to do our best to reproduce it. And it's going to be pretty funny because we can't go back to the start and make it. We don't get all the information. We have to like tack things together. It's going to be really funny. It'll be play. I don't know if it's going to look good at all, but it'll be hilarious. So that's going to be our inspiration shots for our next abstract piece. But honestly, think like February, March, not January, because yeah. But Cooper's first painting on hardboard. Beautiful. All right, sorry, going back to what we were doing. And we'll use a bunch of texture in it too, because that's really fun, I reckon. I mean, she's got Dad's curiosity. She does loves her paint. She really does. She felt a little bit put out the other day because I didn't give her paint, I gave her soft pastels. And she's like, what's this all about? This is less fun. And she tolerated it, but she wasn't into it. So I think it's because she sees me using the stick, she sees me using the paste, and she wants to be a part of that. So I respect that. Yeah. She didn't think much of the pastels. Pezza, welcome on in. I've been very good. And yes, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep that painting. I want this place to be a mixture of, I don't want, I've got a couple of finished pieces here, but I don't want finished pieces here. I want a mixture of other people's art, stuff I've made, stuff that's not finished, stuff that inspires me and makes me feel a little bit curious. I want to fill the walls with that. And so it's like it's not a space where things are just hung up permanently. I don't want it to have that vibe. I want it to have this constantly changing kind of what's going to be in there next time vibe. So hooks everywhere, but art always changing. Hello to Spain. Is the plan. Yeah. Hooks everywhere, but the art's always changing. Loki's a good dog. He knows exactly the spot to go to get the most attention. So he'll hang out here for a bit, and I had the cutest painting session with him the other night. What was happening was I was sitting here painting, and I was standing like boxing stance with the canvas, slapping paint on it, and Loki comes up between my legs and he just starts watching. And he just watches the brush to canvas, brush to canvas, brush to canvas. And he must have been there for like 15, 20 minutes, just backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards. And I still don't know whether he thought I was going to throw the brush like a stick and he would get to fetch it, or whether he was going, all right, boss is clearly interested in this. Let me give this time of day and just see what the vibe is. He then got bored and went to go for a sleep. But, you know, there was a point there where he was really interested in what was happening, and that's great. So Koopy and Loki like they are. I got some terrible news, guys. Some terrible, terrible news. My electric generator outside has just died. So I'm not going to push it because now ventilation has stopped. So now the fans are just blowing fumes against the back wall, and they're not actually extracting them out of the building. So while it's been fun, it's no longer secure. And I need a secure studio, or I'll start going crazy, forgetting my sentences, messing up the painting, and I'll start feeling pretty nauseous pretty fast. Not straight away, but we're not going to send that boat out there. We're going to pause there. So, we pause there. You can come with me on a pack up though. Pause there. I was filming on the good camera here too, with the intention of just seeing if we can get a high quality feed. But I get the feeling the entire thing is just going to be my back to you guys the whole time. So we'll probably just upload the TikTok replay. Anyway, we have the equipment, so we'll give it a go. Hold that one up there, cover that up so it doesn't get dust on it. Put that in my pocket. And the next thing to do is we're just going to go around and turn off all the fans. 1, 2, and 3. Poor old Loki's gone to sleep. We'll give him a little treat to make sure he knows we care. Turn that one off. My other stage light gave up on me like 12 hours ago, so now we're using the ring light, which isn't as effective, but that's the side our backs to anyway, so it's not the biggest issue. Just put that down there. I'm going to leave these treats out here. And then we can keep... He'll start to connect these treats with painting, which will be pretty fun. So, since we have had to wake him up, don't forget to clean and dry Loki so I can go inside. Yeah, full disclosure guys, I'm a dogs indoor kind of a person now. I used to be like, nah, leave them outside, but now that I've had Loki, I don't want to be up at 2 a.m. playing Age of Empires 2 without him napping at my feet. So, dogs indoors. Anyway, since we woke him up, he can have some snacks. Good boy. Alright. Let's make a move, team. I've got a freezing cold outdoor shower to enjoy. And you know that $25,000... no, I didn't pay that much for it. I paid $400. I'll make that very clear. But that $25,000 Italian glass table... And is, you know what? He's had more use out of that than I have. Good for him. Now, I'm going to call it quits there, guys, because I'm about to turn off the power here. The light's going to go out, and I need to find my way back there without tripping up. So, this is one thing that Loki's really good for, because you see that? That's pretty scary. And The other thing too is when I close the barn doors, they make this noise. And I'm a bit of a weakling. And I don't want to walk back in the dark after hearing a creaky noise. So, my boy, as if anything happened, he was going to help. But somehow he makes it okay. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. Love you all. Bye.